Today on Rving with a Purpose, real talk on full-time RV life. What we really think. The conversation starts now. Hey, I'm Tanya.
And I'm Shannon, and this is RVing with a Purpose.
Today we're going to share with you our thoughts on full-time RV life, what we really think, and the verdict is
We love it.
we really do.
Yeah, being able to move around this country with your home and travel and have some very cool and fun experiences with our family has been very enjoyable.
Yeah,
Definitely not throwing in the towel after 3 months.
that's right. So a few months ago, my husband retired from his job. We sold our home and most of our belongings, gave a lot of things away, bought a rig and a truck, and we hit the road. A lot of people thought we had lost our minds. But the purpose in this for us was just to make up for lost time. My husband spent 20 years almost on the working as a firefighter, and we wanted to make up for lost time.
Definitely, and it's worked out. So
We're
far,
all still alive.
Yeah. We're definitely not experts, and we're not here to try to teach you or tell you a bunch of stuff like we know it all, because we don't. We are still learning. We learn something every day, and we will probably continue to learn throughout our life as full-time RVers.
Just the thought
sure.
of full-time RVing is exciting. Everybody loves to travel and loves having new experiences, seeing destinations that they've only read about in books. All of those things are wonderful. It's wonderful having and it's convenient too, having your home with you. Wherever you go, you'll always have your kitchen and your shower and a bathroom. Those are important.
Yeah, and being able to enjoy an area without a time constraint. Like when you go on vacation, it's like you have a week
Or
and
two.
Yeah, and you've got to fit everything in those amount of time. When you're living this lifestyle, you can stay as long as you want, or as short as you want. And so I really enjoy that part of it.
Yeah, and the
a part of this lifestyle.
controllables. It's nice to have controllables. When you're in a residential home, there's things you can't control. You're tied to a mortgage, you're tied to the maintenance, you're tied to your 9 to 5, you're tied to, your schedules in school and everything. And we still have those things with an RV. We still do homeschool. We still have bills to pay, but we have more options and we have more control, and that is priceless.
Yeah, and it's so if you're considering full-time RVing, we have definitely enjoyed our decision to do it. We have no
regret.
We have no regrets.
Yeah.
And so
People thought we were crazy. Yeah.
Definitely.
But we're in a season of life where our priorities have shifted. Time is fleeting. Our kid's a teenager. We have a teenager.
Yeah.
And we wanted to enjoy this time before he's gone out of the house and making a life of his own. So we have no regrets. We completely hope that if you're considering this, you take the jump. If there's any way possible, take that leap of faith and start living the life you've dreamed of.
Yeah.
So we do want to share some of the things we've learned along the way. It's always something.
Definitely. And as we were preparing we've been thinking, and we had talked about RVing full time for over a year. And so our mindset for that type of lifestyle was not a vacation lifestyle. And so we wanted to think of it as life on the road, and not really some huge
permanent vacation. Although that part is great.
Right, that part of it, it's I don't know how to put it, life on the road with fun.
Yeah.
Is how I guess
With
I
perks.
would put it. Yeah. Definitely
Benefits.
has its perks.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and we still, like
Yeah.
we said, we still homeschool, we still cook and clean and do laundry, and this is our home now.
Yeah.
And it's surprising to me how much cleaning is involved. We moved from a 2,500 square foot house, a 2-story home. That was a lot of cleaning. And we moved to this little 44 foot trailer.
Mhm.
But the cleaning is insane because you're at these parks, there's dust. So I mop usually twice a day. Realistic, if we're being realistic, it's a lot of work involved.
Yeah, and
But-
the maintenance, you have maintenance you have to do on your home that's stationary. There's maintenance to do on your
Yeah.
home that is movable.
Yeah,
So,
so keep that realistic mindset.
Yeah,
It's not
that
just
is-
fun and games.
yeah, it's not just some huge vacation,
Yeah.
but it is
It's wonderful.
wonderful
It's
with
freeing. Yeah, and to have that in your own hand, and not be tied down to schedules and the have-tos of life. It's been very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, so we definitely would recommend it.
There are some cons,
Yeah.
some things we didn't think
I know,
about
yeah.
or didn't consider.
And things that you want to consider when you're thinking about this lifestyle, and one that we knew about but just kind of didn't prioritize was fuel costs.
Yeah.
Fuel costs in a diesel, it's been expensive, and the way that we have deterred that is we're staying longer at places, being able to save on fuel rather than moving around, once a week or once every couple of days. So we like that we're sticking around in certain places.
Right, and we're learning our preferences. Like my husband prefers to fuel with just the truck, not while he's hooked up.
Mhm.
Then he can find a gas station that's maybe more reasonable than the
Yeah.
big stations that are geared towards rigs.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm still learning, but I personally feel that I save money by fueling up while I'm unhooked. I personally feel that when you're hooked up, you got to go to a travel center, a Pilot, Flying
those
J,
big-
one of those big
yeah.
ones, and I feel that their prices are more expensive, and you can save more by just doing it before you hook up. Now, if you're in a Class A, then that's your only option. But being that we're in a fifth wheel, I feel that we save more money by doing that. And I use Gas Buddy, and I've been using Upside. And if you know of any other ways to save fuel, share with us for sure.
Absolutely.
Because we are still learning. And we've watched a lot of YouTube videos as well.
There's so many.
So we were YouTube certified in RV living. So.
But some things you just have to jump in and find out for
Yeah,
yourself.
you definitely learn. You learn on your own.
Yeah. And I think nothing could prepare you for life in a full-time RV. I think one of the things I didn't think about was weather. Now you do plan weather. He has apps that he follows for driving and
Yes.
weather and all of that. But
Yeah.
we were in Texas in the desert, and my goodness, those winds were coming through and whipping this trailer.
Yeah, it was
That's something I didn't.
25 to 30 mile an hour gusts.
Yeah, I didn't anticipate that. We've not been through like really heavy storms. We've been through some rain. Those were actually really nice. Hearing the sound of the rain on the porch and stuff was very relaxing. But the wind was a little intimidating. I was shaking pretty good.
Yeah, and we did okay. I mean, it was just the sound, and being
And it was new.
Yeah, being in an RV, being brand new, and haven't seen a YouTube video out there yet about what wind. And
Yes, so
storms.
if you know how
So-
much wind these rigs can take, please let us know.
Yeah.
But so far we haven't gone rolling down the prairie, so that's good.
No, for sure.
Some unexpected things. What else you got?
Some unexpected would be, the mishaps. I guess some of the mishaps.
They do happen.
Yeah, and one of the mishaps, I think, probably a funny one, was the water. We had a water leak from the faucet coming on while we were traveling.
Yes. But those roads were ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, the roads were
Such
really,
bad shape.
really rough, and we believe that is what turned
Rattled the faucet
the kitchen
on.
faucet on.
Yeah. While we were traveling down the road.
Yeah.
It's-
Fortunately, it was only a 30-minute travel day for that day, and when when the family opened the door, there's water everywhere, and
yeah, I was on the floor, under the sofa, under the slides. It was actually pouring out from under the slide outside, and I'm like, yeah, there's something wrong. But that was just one of a few things that we've encountered so far. Nothing too treacherous or tragic.
Yeah, so there are going to be mishaps.
Yeah.
And just being able to roll with it, and
I mean, we weren't
do your due diligence. Yeah.
We weren't thrilled. Yay!
Yeah, it wasn't
And
Noah
the kitchen's flooded.
Yeah, Noah built an ark in our kitchen. We were high-fiving him for sure.
Yeah.
But doing your due diligence to avoid those mishaps.
Yeah.
But we're human, and so things are just going to happen. For that particular event, it was my job to make sure that the water pump is off during travel, and obviously I didn't do that. Thankfully, it was only 30 minutes of water everywhere, and it could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
But
Thank God it was a short travel day.
Yeah.
And sometimes things get lost. Sometimes things get left.
Yeah.
You had a few instances of that.
Yeah, I left a very nice adjustable water pressure regulator at a camp, and I'm so disappointed when I got to the next camp. I can't find the water pressure regulator, and then I realized I had left it at the last camp.
Yeah.
And it was, it's not like you can just jump in your truck and drive 4 more hours. It's just not worth it. But I wish I hadn't have done that. I really like that water pressure regulator.
Yeah.
And so things you're just going to have to replace. And we're just bringing up some of our mishaps, and because when you're thinking about this lifestyle, you're not thinking, I'm going to mess up.
Yeah.
But there are things that are just going to happen.
Yeah, and ours began on our very first night. We had spent the day unloading from storage and moving into the trailer. We were exhausted. It was a hot, tiring day, and we should have stayed somewhere overnight and recouped, but we didn't. We hit the road, and it was a night where it was raining off and on. It was just a crazy night, and then we tried to find somewhere to land. We ended up on a Cracker Barrel
that was very unlevel, and as we pull into the Cracker Barrel, a gentleman steps out into the road in front of us, tells us to stop, and we have a door flying open. So
that was a lesson learned.
Yeah,
we know
definitely.
now to check the doors.
Make sure all the doors are closed and locked, and more than just one person does that too.
Yes.
So since there's more of us, the 3 of us, really make sure everything is buttoned down.
But even at that, it's happened again. Not too long ago, we were in Missouri, and we had a car honking at us, and I'm like, what's wrong? And sure enough, the door was open again. Yeah, so those things do and will happen. You just got to learn to go with it. Let's talk about, a lot of people have a lot of trauma on Move Day. Let's talk about Move Day.
Yeah, so Move Day for us, has been pretty simple and not too anxious, not too worrisome about it.
Your attitude is up to you.
Yeah, I'm personally excited when we move to a new location. It's new experiences that we're gonna have, and new people we're gonna meet and get to know. So I enjoy it. One of the things that we do is each one of us has a particular job.
Jobs,
that we're responsible for, and so that makes it easy, so that you're not trying to do everything. You have a particular set of skills, and that's what you're in charge of, and that makes it pretty easy. And we can normally, there are things that I do the day before. There are things that Tanya does the day before to get ready for that move day. and so it just makes it simple.
Yeah,
and,
it's been working.
Yeah, it hasn't been too exciting or anxious making. So.
Something I think that has been surprising is the condition of the roads, and unknown maybe laws or restrictions. I think when you're considering RV life, you don't consider the roads out there may really do some damage to your rig or your tires or to your vehicle. You don't really think about bridge heights or what are they called, tunnels, and the weight of your rig. These are things I didn't think about.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about them, and it's just something that you have to deal with. And there are apps out there. The one we use personally is RV Life. Seems to be working very well, and it helps me plan our route. So it gives us specific RV safe,
which is
routes,
so great.
You know, and so not that RV Life is the end all, save all to GPS and planning, but it's just the one that we've used.
It's a useful tool.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's more out there that other people will recommend as well.
Yes, so recommend them. We'll take.
Yeah, we'll take recommendations.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just put them in the comments below.
Yeah.
So
how about some things that I know one of the things that you found surprising was your ability to drive. You said it drives better and easier than you thought.
Yeah, I thought, it was going to be, I don't know, just thinking of the size.
White knuckles?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought, I could be white knuckled all the way, just nervous because it's just not something that I've done, a lot of, is driving. We're with the truck and the trailer, we're 65 feet long. And that's pretty big. And then we're 13 feet 6 inches tall, and so it's actually been pretty easy. And I think it's because we got the right truck to pull what rig that we purchased. And I think if we had gotten a smaller truck or not a dually, what we have is a 2018 Dodge Ram. It's a diesel. And it's a dual rear wheel, and I think if we hadn't have done that, then it would have been a little more nerve-wracking while driving. But it really isn't. It pulls it well, and so I have no regrets of purchasing the truck that we did for pulling this. And we weigh 20,000 pounds, or the trailer does. It's a 20,000 pound trailer with our stuff in it. And so, it's pretty easy.
And that was surprising too when we began looking for a truck. They were not plentiful.
Yeah, it was the wrong timing, but we had to find one, and we did find one, and
hopefully that's changed now, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Supply issues.
I don't know. I'm not looking for a truck. So. But,
okay.
Yeah.
So another thing that you mentioned was backing in.
Backing in.
I want to say this though. I think he does great. I wasn't concerned because of his former occupation of firefighting. I just assumed that he would have no trouble pulling something this size. I just thought, you're used to driving fire trucks and big equipment, and so I was totally confident in his ability.
So, I mean, 3 months into it, that's, for move day, that's probably the most nerve-wracking. If it's a pull-through site, I have no nerves whatsoever. I'm doing good. But if it's a back-end site, it's always something in the back of my mind.
You freak yourself out.
I probably freak myself out more than I should. But backing in is something you just have to do to learn, and I'm still learning. So
we'll take tips.
Yeah, that's. and
we've only hit a few trees, so so good.
Yeah.
Him and our son, work really well as a team to get that rig.
Yeah, we use walkie-talkies. So if you're by yourself, you're not going to talk about walkie-talkie to yourself. So, but if you're a couple, or if you have a teenage son, that can help you, and he does a great job.
He does.
Using walkie-talkies, because you don't want to be at a campground yelling at each other. Using walkie-talkies is key into, you know, when you're backing up.
So what are the things? So when you watch videos, you are inundated with the things that you need to get started in this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, what are the things you're really glad that you've purchased that you feel like are necessary compared to the things that maybe you can wait on?
Okay.
One I know, he says gloves.
Gloves. That's a must. So, you know, the first thing, I guess I'll talk about the minimal thing that you need to get started and go.
A rig, a truck.
Yeah, besides your rig and your truck. You're gonna need some sewer hose to dump your gray water and to dump your black water.
Evil necessities.
Yeah. Depending on your rig, our rig has 2 black tanks, it has 2 gray tanks, and it has 2 places to dump. So for us, minimal would be, I purchased 2 hoses. One's 20 foot, one's 10 foot. I purchased the Y, and I also purchased the 90-degree elbow. And so that would be minimal for our rig. And even that, I really didn't have to buy the Y or a second hose, because you can just disconnect and connect to your other outlet and dump them. But you know, that's just, the more times that you disconnect and connect, the more chances to get stuff on you don't want on you. Which brings me to the point, you have to have gloves. Did I mention gloves? You need gloves. So, you know, before you buy the hose, buy your gloves. And so that's, as far as your sewer, that would be the minimal that you would need. We also purchase the ladders that the hoses sit on, because some of your camps are going to require that, and you don't want to show up at a campground that require that, and then you're having to buy it from them because they're going to make it more expensive, just for the convenience. So definitely the ladders, that's what I call them, that the hose sits on, it keeps it off the ground, and then your hoses. As far as your water, you really just need a water hose to go from the water connection at the campsite to your RV. That's minimal, and you'll be fine with just that. What we purchased was a water pressure regulator, which I recommend. And
it really does make a difference.
Yeah, because you want to keep your rig safe.
Yeah.
And so really, that's really all we have. Is a water hose for drinking water that hooks to our rig from the campsite. Now, personally, we try not to drink water from camps. We drink bottled water
Right now, yeah.
So we're looking to upgrade to a better filter.
Yes, so send those suggestions.
Yeah.
The one we were going to go with.
And the rig has its own filter, but it's just one filter, and you know, we just feel safer. This is a personal opinion, you know. Yeah. Something that we do, but we're looking to upgrade to a better filter system, so we're not drinking so much bottled water.
Yeah.
So, and then your power. The minimal you need is really nothing, because your rig is going to come with a cord, and you just plug it in, whether it's 30 amp or 50 amp. Now, something that I would recommend and that we purchased was a surge protector. Yeah, I definitely would recommend that. You don't need it.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, you don't need it to get started, but it was one of those items that protects your rig, and you know, I definitely would recommend it.
I mean, you buy them to protect your electronics at home. Why in the world wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, so you want to protect your investment.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it. Do you need it to get started? No, you're going to get power, whether you have it or not. So.
Which brings me to internet.
Yeah, internet. So there's, well, let me go back to the tire pressure monitor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we purchased a tire pressure monitor. and it's not something you have to get started. The wheels will go around without anything monitoring the tire pressure.
But it does give you peace of mind.
It does give me peace of mind for sure. And we went with the TPS system from Amazon, and it works great. And I'm glad I bought it. But do you need it? No. You don't have to have it. But I would recommend it. As the driver, you know, to be able to look up and see the tire pressures and they're doing okay, it does settle your mind a little bit, so you focus on driving more, and it alerts you with anything that happens. But then there are things that we didn't purchase that I felt like we just had to have, and one was internet,
which we still want to purchase,
right? And the other was a camera system. And the camera system, the only real reason that I want to get it is while I'm driving, to be able to know what's behind me. I really don't think it's going to help me back this unit in any better, because I really need, instead of paying attention to the cameras, I need to pay attention to my son. You know, if he's out there and I'm backing up, his safety is the most important. And if I'm trying to pay attention to the monitor and cameras and my eyes are off of him, that's not safe. That's not safe practices. So, but I do want one as we're traveling down the road. It would be nice to be able to see behind me, because when the rig is hooked up, you don't see everything behind you.
Yeah.
So, and then the internet, I felt like we were just, you know, gonna need it to watch television, you know, for our phones or whatever. But we've been able to do just fine without it, especially
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. We've been able to hook to the campground's Wi-Fi and watch television. It's been, I would say 90% of the time, we've had no issues watching TV with the campground's Wi-Fi. You know,
and sometimes you're at a spot where you don't want to watch TV anyway.
Yeah. And you know, especially at state parks,
yeah.
They normally don't. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the state parks that we've stayed at, they haven't had Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And
but you're fishing or exploring or
who wants to sit down and watch TV? Yeah. You know, and you can get connected when you get back, you know, wherever you're going.
So we've talked about costs and some unexpected costs, and of course, just like when you have a residential home, you always want to have a little plan or a reserve for those things that pop up. So that's always a good idea. We've talked about necessities. How about questions people have about mail or residence or things like that?
Yeah, that was one of the things that YouTube and research helped us.
Yeah.
I found a place. It's in Florida, and we were Florida residents.
We still are.
When I retired. Yeah. And so that made it easy to pick them. It's called My RV Mail, and we use them. It gives us an address there in Florida. It allowed us to transfer our driver's license. Yeah. Our driver's license has that address on it. Our mail goes there.
So we get our mail. We still can vote. We stayed in our home school.
There is an annual cost. I believe it was around $40. You'll have to check it for yourself, but it's myrvmail.com. And what's really cool is every day I get an email of what came in the mail. And if it's junk mail, I just hit trash and they trash it. They shred it, recycle it, and I get 10 free scans. They'll scan the mail for me, and I can actually read it if I'm not sure what it is. And then when I want to receive that mail, I just put in the address that we're staying at that time, and then they mail it to us. And so
it's worked out well for us.
Yeah, that has been stress-free.
Yeah.
I would say stress-free, myrvmail.com. And there are others out there that you can use. And so there are options out there. And so if you're thinking about this lifestyle and one of the questions is mail, there are ways to keep an address.
Yeah. Another question or concern is doctors or healthcare.
Well, I don't know that I want to comment too much on doctors just yet because we're 3 months into it. But we have our personal way that we're going to do it is we're just going to make a trip back to Florida for a short stint just to do those doctor's appointments. But we're looking to telemed and other options as well. So
Right.
I don't have a lot to say
And
about
pray
that.
we don't have any emergencies.
Right. And if you have an emergency,
Go to the hospital.
you go to the
Or
hospital,
ER.
you know, and
or urgent care.
or
yeah.
urgent care.
Yeah.
And so that's
So
how-
don't let that keep you from.
Yeah. One of the things about my RV now, too, to go back, is you can have medicine.
Yeah.
We have our medicines delivered to them, and then they will ship it to wherever we're at. So
Yeah.
medicines has not been an issue of getting.
So you can do this lifestyle with minimum interruption in your normal everyday needs.
Yeah.
Minimal. Everything else pretty much stays the same. And there's usually a workaround for anything that comes up. So don't let the unknowns intimidate you. You'll learn as you go. You'll figure it out as you go. So, was there anything else that we wanted to cover?
No, bottom line is we've enjoyed this lifestyle
We
change.
do.
And we have no regrets.
Yeah.
And
We pray if you have an opportunity that you take it.
yeah. And we're going to be putting out more videos, so we would appreciate it if you would subscribe and hit the alert bell button. And we're going to be, like I said, putting more videos up for you to see. And we thank you for the time. We invite comments or suggestions as well on things that will help us throughout our lifestyle.
And coming up will be a video review of our first thoughts on and our first dealings with Thousand Trails. Dun dun dun. So stay tuned.
Goodbye for now.